hear me. Coming to you from a completely different part of the world. A completely. Okay, making sure that I can hear myself. Seems like you guys can hear me. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Kid, you recognize this. This ain't nothing you ain't never seen. I don't know how or what we're going to, or how this is going to work, because I think I'm going to actually have to move the camera around with me instead of just letting it sit here and do its thing. Let's see if I can see on my computer. How high up does it go? Where am I? Wow, that's a lot of lag. Okay, there we are. There I am. Okay, so it's just about right. So, but I figured we might as well just do one, right? Make it seem like we're actually doing Pokemon when we should be doing Masters. So, never done one in front of the camera like this. So, where's your card? If that fits. And steel. I'm waiting for it to show me. Wow, electric. Okay. Now, let's see what it says. How do these guys do this then? 1, 2, 3. They do it so perfectly and flawlessly. We should be on the reverse by now. Okay, we got a reverse. And nothing. And the last card. Flip. Nothing. Clydall. Alright. That was poo. Oh, there was a Whooper in there. Best card in the whole deck. Right there. Whooper. Smaller Dragonair, Among Us, the Nation. Alright. Alright. So, what's up, everybody? We did a Pokemon. Got that out of the way. That's one last one that we have to do. We are talking E-Man today. This is I'm trying to look in my screen here. This is just vintage. Vintage is 82 to 87. It started 82 with, I want to say it was 8, because there was an 8-back cards, which I don't have any 8-back cards because those are very, very expensive. And I'm trying to look here. All right, last one. I can kind of see the laptop over there, so I'm trying to see if anybody's saying anything. The first 8 figures were He-Man, Man-at-Arms, Stratos, Tila, Skeletor, Beastman, Zodak, and Merman. The first Skeletor that came out was this guy. You can tell him because, number one, the half boots. I'm making sure that you guys can see this. The boots were only painted halfway. He had purple breeches. And he had peachy cheeks. Making sure you guys can see that. You may or may not be able to because of the light. I'm going to turn the light that way a little bit. Peachy cheeks. Subsequent Skeletors had half boots, black breeches, and the peachy cheeks. Peachy cheeks went away. And then, of course, the third series, full boot, black breeches, no peachy cheeks. Beastman was also part of the first wave. Here you go. That's our Beastman from the first wave. The other first waver was Zodak, which he's up here because later in life, instead of being a evil warrior, he became a cosmic enforcer. He kind of showed up if there was too much evil or if there's too much good, blah, blah, blah. He-Man. And this is not a first edition He-Man. You can tell because the paint goes up past his boots. The first edition He-Man did not do that. And I had no plans. Like, I have no, like, this is what we're going to talk about tonight. So, what I think I'm going to do is I probably will just take the camera off the stand and I'll just bring it up here so you guys can see all this. And then hopefully then, were they just lazy with the boots? No. Good. That's a great question, though. They weren't lazy with the boots because the original artwork was that Skeletor had shin guards. And instead of this part here should have been flesh color too, because he's supposed to be barefoot. So it's not that they were just lazy. It was done on purpose. It was supposed to be shin guards, not boots. But later on they just said, it's easier to just paint the whole thing. Hello, Michael Gutierrez. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so, but we're talking about all this kind of stuff because of the new trailer that just dropped for the new movie. It's been, God, I want to say since '87 when Dolph Lundgren played He-Man. But, I mean, I've been collecting this stuff, and He-Man's been one of my favorite properties since I was a kid, but collecting-wise, about '98. I was in the Navy out in San Diego, and eBay became a thing right about then. So I jumped on that bandwagon and started putting together a small collection, which has turned into a way bigger collection. My kids can tell you it's taken over my house. There's lots and lots of these things. But I figured we would just do vintage today. We could always go into new adventures. We could do 2000X. We could do She-Ra. I have classics. I have Origins. I got lots of stuff. I have stuff still in the box. I have statues. I have the San Diego Comic-Con statue still. I have a box full of the Dollar Tree figures, all that kind of good stuff. Yes, I'm looking forward as well to the new movie. I was very skeptical when it was first announced, and they're like, hey, it's actually happening. I said, I'll believe it when I see it. But now there's a trailer, and the trailer looks pretty good. So, all right. So in the trailer, and that's kind of, like I said, is kind of what we're going off of. The very first scene, you see, I'm going to put all sorts of shadows on here. You see a bird fly by in the very first scene. That bird is Zor, or Zoar, as they were called it in the cartoon. That's, of course, the alter ego of the sorceress. Gosh, I really wish I had better light. Let me see if I can pull this around. Sorry. Again, I did not give any plans or thoughts to this stuff, so I am getting you guys seasick, I'm sure. All right, Zoar, and then we see Adam, which is right there. There's Adam with his pink shirt, pink vest. You also see the sorceress there in the background. There is a scene with Mechanex's face. We don't see that very much. Extendar, Rio Blast. That's the Thunder Punch He-Man. Moss Man, Cyclone. That's Rock-On. He's hiding right at the moment. I got this really cool display for Orko. It not only makes it look like he is floating like he's supposed to, which we did not see Orko in the trailer. I hope they're just hiding him, because that was a big thing about the original movie, was that we got Gwildor instead of Orko. So, but this display shows off the coin trick. Funny thing, I didn't buy any of the Masterverses. I was not a big fan of the Masterverses because I had so many classics. So I did not buy any of the Masterverses. But I'm getting past myself here. So this display shows Orko floating and his coin trick that he came with when he first came out. You got Buzz Off there. He-Man with Battle Cat. There's your Tila. Also making an appearance very, very briefly in the trailer is Ram Man. I wish I had about 3 hands right now so that I could hold this light and do fun stuff. I have 2 sets here of Rotar. He was one of the last figures made. He does not stand up by himself. So you see there, he is a top. And he has a display that comes with it and his gears and sword. But he was one of the last figures made in the United States, or for the United States, I should say. And he came out at the same time that Twistoid did. Now you see Twistoid, I don't have any of his parts. He is the last figure I needed, and I still do not have any of his parts. I do hope, I know I've heard the rumors that Orko's there, so he's got to be there. Speaking of Orko's replacement, there is Gwildor. Snout Spout, and that is Stondar right there. He's also hiding. There's King Randor in the back. We did see a version of Roboto. That's going to be voiced by Kristen Wiig. So I'm curious as that one. Battle Armor, He-Man there. Clamp Champ in the back. Speaking of Zodak again, there he is. And that's Flying Fist He-Man. You twist him and his weapons go up and down. Same with Terror Claws Skeletor there. In the background you see some of the classics versions of the figures there that are in front of you. If you ever watched Adult Swim, you know who this guy is. This is from Robot Chicken. Molar, the Eternian Dentist. Now those here, Laser Power He-Man and Laser Light Skeletor, these are classics versions of the vintage figures that only came out in Italy. You could only get those figures in Italy, which is why I don't have them. So now talking about, I'm sorry I'm moving you guys around so much. Talking about bad guys. Well, we saw Allison Brie in the trailer as Evil Lynn. You all know Jared Leto is playing and or just voicing Skeletor. We saw a quick glimpse of Beastman. He was in the Earth scene. And we saw Spikor. We also then saw Spikor get punched by, there he is up there, by that guy right there. That's Fisto. I know, the names are the names. You do what it is. There's Whiplash, Clawful, Ninjor, Too Bad, Trapjaw right there. We saw a little bit of him in the trailer. He was the one rushing at him as he was lifting up his sword. There's the battle damage, battle armor Skeletor. Merman. I have a couple Mermans because this one here, it's really tough to see because light's bad, but that is an orange belt. And then this one over here is a green belt. Faker He-Man, fun story. The first time I ever got a He-Man figure, my mother gave me a choice between He-Man and Faker, and I thought, well, a blue He-Man's a lot cooler than just a regular He-Man. So, there you go. Faker was my very first figure ever. Stinkor, we didn't see any of him. Blade from the original Dolph Lundgren movie. Sarad there from the original movie. Jitsu. We did not see any Panthers. Again, sorry for the shakiness. Yes, Italy. Italy at the end of the line in 87, and I want to say in the beginnings of 88. Masters Universe is still very, very popular in Europe. So Mattel was going to continue their Power of Grayskull line, I believe it was called. I want to say Powers of Grayskull. That's where you got the dinosaurs, and you got America got dinosaurs, and we'll see those. But they wanted to continue on with Hero, the sorcerer of Grayskull, and they were going to do so Europe got the laser power figures, and then they got a set of giants, Megator and Titus, which did not come out in America. Yes, he was. He was voiced by Jason Mewes. I wonder why that was, considering that his best buddy was the directing producer or whatever it was. So we have looked at our heroic warriors here. We have looked at our evil warriors, because that's what Skeletor's crew was called, the evil warriors. Fast forward a little bit, and Mattel says we need some new bad guys. And I'm just trying to back up and grab my stool here a little bit because I'm getting a little low. So we need new bad guys. So what did we get? We got the Horde. Now the Horde was originally going to be another faction for He-Man to fight. So we got Hordak there on his Mantisaur, Grizzlor, Mantenna, Multibot, Dragstore there in the back, and then lots and lots of Horde Troopers. Horde Troopers are my Build-A-Figures, or Build-A-Army. I have so many Horde Troopers. Of course, he also had the Slime Pit, Mosquitor, Modulok, Leech. I do have the variant Dark-Faced Grizzlor compared to his regular face, I guess you could call him. But they, and I say they, Mattel decided that they needed a girls' line. So they, in the cartoons, made Hordak She-Ra's big bad. So that's good fun. So yeah, I have lots and lots of Horde Troopers. Horde Troopers are my favorite thing to army build. Now, I have She-Ra figures. I'll look at those in a second. I don't know how much light I'm going to have. But the other faction that came out were the Snake Men. Now we're getting way. Oh, look, I have another Dark-Faced Grizzlor. I need to do something with that guy. We have King Hiss. King Hiss, Ratlor, Snakeface. I got a yellow neck Ratlor. I got a red neck Ratlor. I know. Blast Attack, Squeeze, Tongue Lasher. And I put Cobra Khan down here because he defects from Skeletor and becomes a Snake Man bad guy. But as I was saying earlier about the dinosaurs, here's the T-Rex with a good gun, which is crazy because that thing is so fragile. Bionatops over here. Now these guys would fight Skeletor more than they would fight He-Man. Every now and again they would, but mostly in the comics, the mini comics and whatnot, they would be fighting Skeletor because they wanted their home back, which they were originally part of Snake Mountain. Down here we have a Night Stalker, Stridor, Blaster Hawk, an Attack Track, Dragon Walker. Oh boy. Now over here, this is just a bunch of my other stuff. There's some more classics. There is the Lunchbox cereal, which came out not too long ago. Epic Battles from Super 7. A lot of the minis that came from Five Below there. Then we get into like 2000X. Just doing a quick run through these guys. Here I have New Adventures with their classic counterparts. Hope I'm seeing if anybody's saying anything. More classics. There's Galactic She-Ra right there. Some of the box stuff I have. Okay. Since we're trying to stay a little bit, here is some vintage She-Ras. Again, I try to keep their classics counterpart next to each other. And there she is. He-Man's sister, She-Ra. Castaspella. I do have a Happy Meal. As far as there's a Bashosaurus down there. There's a Monstroid there. That's part of Hordak's crew. A Laser Bolt, Fright Fighter, Wind Raider with a Battle Ram. There's the Roton and Land Shark. I'm going to have to put that light down because I don't have enough. Oh, sorry. Classics. Got DVDs. The classics. Mattel tried to do just bigger versions, up-to-date versions of the old vintage figures, and maybe even figures that didn't get vintage releases. Good times. Have Hot Wheels, puzzles, statues. We got our Talon Fighter, On Point Dread, on Castle Grayskull. How cool is that? Good stuff, good stuff. Our Fright Zone, which is the home of Hordak and the Horde. I wish I had better light. That is my monster puppet that comes with the Fright Zone, and it stays right there. I don't touch it. Those things are so fragile. So fragile. My Snake Mountain, which does work. Some of the commemoratives from the early 2000s. More 2000X stuff. 2000X She-Ra, 2000X Faker. More of the commemoratives. Some Burger King cups. Yeah. I have tons and tons of 2000X. I was in San Diego in 2000. I was there for the unveiling of the new 2000X, and they gave away these t-shirts to anybody that was in line. I have probably half a dozen of them. They're just little softball jersey shirts that have the 2000X logo. Move on a little bit. Anybody want to have their birthday with She-Ra? Got your little candle there. I have the large figures of Beastman and Stratos and Man-at-Arms. I am missing the Skeletors and the He-Man and the Zodak. Anybody in here currently can tell me who these guys are? These are not Masters of the Universe. So yeah, if you've ever thought a grown man just has room with, action figures from the 80s, yeah, that's me. Because nobody's saying anything. Yep, you are correct, sir. These are Thunder Kitties. There is Tigra, Panthro, Chitara, Hachiman, Lionel, Mumra the Ever Living, Vulture Man, Monkeyan, I think the Groon, Walrus, Slythe. I have one, you guys are getting the whole tour of the basement right at the moment. Escanor. He's got pride. Here is an inbox, Crystal Falls. There is the minifigures. Those are Funkos that are still in the box. What you're looking at there with this one, I'm trying to point to it. This right here is a full case, never been opened, of Spitbulls from the 2000X line. Never been out of its case. Never. This right here is a Mondo Scareglow, still in its box. That little box here, this box here, that is the dollar store. There's like 30 or 40 figures in there. I don't even know who's in this one. This is Mattel Creations. This is the statue that came out in 99, 2000. That was, you could get it from San Diego Comic-Con. That was the only place you could get it from. Full tub of minis in there. You see those are full. Got the Snake Mountain ones. This is a Mexican blow mold faker, which has been painstakingly crafted and fixed so that it was painted correct colors. When it first came to my house, it was pretty bad. It looked like somebody had ran it through the dirt, and it has been expertly restored and revitalized to the correctness of it. It's one of my favorite things by one of my favorite people. I got 2 of the Mega Blocks Castle Grayskulls. These are the whole things. My kids are supposed to, I have one that was supposed to stay in its box and one that's could be opened. And my kids are supposed to be Lego whizzes, so if they ever come hang out, which they're planning to do, we can have one night of nothing but just Lego building. Here is my Transformers shelf. Yeah, I know this is supposed to be a He-Man one, but there's the Transformer shelf. A lot of stuff from Combiner Wars, but there is some vintage in there, like that Omega Supreme, Ramjet, more Transformers, and then lots and lots. Here we go. Tell me somebody who's used a 110 camera. Not a 35 millimeter, but a 110. Those are cool stuffs. More vintage, still on its card. Very cool stuff. Lots and lots of classics. Some 2000X, as you see there. You see down there, what do we got? We got the Battle Ram from 2000X, the Pterodactyl, the War Whale. That is a vintage Battle Bones there. Lot of classics, lot of classics. Anybody wanna? You do put. I'm trying to stay out of my own light. How do I do that without? There we go. Glow in the dark puzzle, steel seal. Very fun, very cool stuff. Lots and lots of cool stuff. Oh, showed you guys all that kind of stuff. There's a drinking glass, Man-at-Arms. Yes, the toy for when he had snake armor on, for 2000X. That one is still very hard to find. For some reason, they didn't want to put that figure out. It didn't come out in the first wave of Snake Men figures that came out in America. For a long time, it was a Europe-only thing, too. I think KB may have gotten some, but it wasn't. It's even to this day, a snake armor He-Man from the 2000X line is still very hard to find. Very hard to find. Another thing, like with the Dragon Walker from 2000X here, oh, I can get my light back. It should fit. There was a variation of this figure that came with the Dragon Walker that had tattoos, had dragon tattoos. So that's another one that's hard to find. I told you earlier about the Spitbull. That's a Spitbull right there. The case that we have over there. This is a battle tank from 2000X. Some more of the new adventure-y type stuff. This is also a new adventure type stuff. There you go. Trying to find one of those. Buy one, get one free. Double figure. And here, they just call him Evil Mutant. I think his name's Brack. No, yeah, Brack and Flog. But yeah, they didn't... a lot of that stuff they changed because I think, once again, they made the toys before they made the show. So the toys had one name, and then the show had a different name. Because people like, oh, he's down here. This guy here was originally called Icarus, and then they called him Flipshot. in the show. There's Hero 2, which is supposed to be the son of Hero, or He-Man. Hurricane Hordak Classic. Somewhere around here, I thought I had... Is that this? No, this one. Look at this. This is the Mega Construct Battle Bones. That thing's rare. I was very surprised to find out how rare that is. I don't know if that was a con exclusive or what. This should be... Oh, Talon Fighter. Mega Construct's Talon Fighter. Wind Raider. Battle Cat. All these little guys here. These went to Five Below. Nobody can find them. And I have so many of them. I don't even know what to do with them anymore. So many. So many. So, that's just this. There's a whole nother 2 levels of my house that have He-Man on it. So I figured we'll just real quick, I keep moving you guys around, give you another quick scan of the vintage stuff. We can always revisit. We can talk about it anytime. Cool. Yes, come out for my rotars. Card game. War and Conquer. Evil Warriors once again. Scareglow, everybody's favorite Scareglow. I need to take him upstairs and give him a wash. It's getting a little dusty. Do I have both? No, I only have that Faker. That Faker is the original Faker from '83 because he has a blue head with painted on orange. Yes, I did know about that, but at the same time, they introduced Decker. They introduced Decker, which I thought I had Decker in. There you go. There's Decker. And sorry about the lighting. Wish I could turn my front light on. That would be nice, wouldn't it? No, it won't let me. That won't have the camera on. Decker was Man-at-Arms, Mentor, and there's Clamp Champ. But yes, Duncan got turned into a Snake Man right there. We were talking about the Giants earlier. There's Megator, and then there's Titus. Now these are the classic versions. These are not the vintage versions, because if they were, that would be about $3,000, and that guy would be about $3,000 if they were all complete. The Horde for classics. There's Shadow Weaver. She-Ra's down. Adora's down. Mermista. So, yes. Very well versed in my Masters Universe lore, whether it be mini comics, whether it be cartoon, vintage, new adventures, 2000X, whatever. I've been doing this for a very, very long time. Very long time. So, alright, we've been talking for a half an hour about this stuff. So, that's where I think I'm going to end this one. If you're new here, thank you for stopping by. Please like and subscribe. We can always talk He-Man more. We got a big boost in the last couple weeks. We went from 247 subscribers, and we're still trying to get to our 500. But we went from 247. I think the last time I looked at it, we were at 377. I did some shorts from some of the Pokemon stuff that I did. I took some of those videos and turned them into shorts. And we got a bunch in the last couple weeks. We got a bunch of subscribers. I want to say thank you. Appreciate you. Welcome aboard for this crazy ride that we're trying to do. If you're new, please subscribe, please like, and let's do it again sometime. Thank you guys for all hanging out. All right, bye-bye.